what the Prime Minister is saying, Sabyasachi. The Prime Minister there giving a clarion call to all the parties, asking them to unite on the Women's Reservation Bill, saying that there has been a tradition that every time a party stood against women, they've essentially lost in the past.
Well, in fact, that's right. The centre understand the importance of women voters in the country because, in fact, if you see the last polls in the state of Bihar and in the other states, in fact, the women voters have come out in large numbers in comparison to the male voters. So the BJP and the NDA, the government understand the importance of women voters because they are more concrete in comparison to the male voters. Now, the pitch that has come in from Prime Minister Narendra Modi clearly says that if the opposition continues to politicize the issue, if the opposition continues to oppose the women reservation bill. So in the past also the opposition have faced the brunt of it where they have lost the state assembly polls, rightly pointed in the state of Bihar, where a large number of women voters have voted in favor of the NDA, not in favor of the opposition. So similar examples have been cited by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he has highlighted that this is the time where the opposition parties need to rise above politics. The opposition parties need to understand that it is a historical step, and every political party who is involved in this decision making can take the credit. So if the women reservation bill is passed in the Lok Sabha, then the credit will not go to the central government. In fact, the credit will go to all the political parties who are present out there, because it is a collective measure that would require for the bill to pass. So the NDA is aware of the fact that they don't have the majority. If you look at the numbers, the NDA has 293 seats, the opposition has 238 seats. So to pass the bill, they need two-thirds of the majority. So they need 360 vote from the parliament. So they need the support of the opposition, and that is the reason why Prime Minister Narendra Modi in fact also highlighted to the opposition that in the past also how they have suffered defeats because of opposing to women related welfare schemes, and also highlighted that this is a collective measure that needs to be taken by all the political parties present.
All right. It's also interesting to note, Sabyasachi, that the Prime Minister essentially talked about a women's reservation throughout his speech without, linking it back to delimitation exercise. He although clarified that there is no problem with the intent of the BJP. He said, unlike what many opposition MPs were pointing out, that perhaps this is a facade in the name of women's reservation. It's the representation of political parties, especially the southern parties and the southern states, which will dramatically go down. The Prime Minister said the intent is clear. It is to, in fact, implement the 33% reservation. There is no, back channel or a backdoor initiative by the BJP to tamper with the representation of southern states.
That's right, Shweta. See, there are certain questions which still the central government has to reply, because Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his speech also mentioned that there are certain points which are being raised by the opposition, and he would not go into the technical aspect of which later the other leaders from the Bharatiya Janata Party will clarify as far as the technical part is concerned. See, some of the points which the opposition have raised, the opposition have asked that why the implementation did not happen back in 2023, why you need to bring it at a time when you have also brought it delimitation with that. And the opposition says that the central government speaks about increasing the number of Lok Sabha seats to 815 for states and the rest for the union territory. So the opposition here asked that where did the number come from? So where did the centre get this 850 number or 815 number? So the opposition wants to know. In fact, the opposition says that back in 2023 when it was passed by the House back then, why was the bill not implemented? And the opposition says that we are okay with the women reservation bill, we support it, but it should be implemented. It should have been implemented back back before the 2024 Lok Sabha polls, and it should not be done based on the 2018 11 census. Now the opposition says that the census needs to be carried out first, and after which the delimitation exercise has to be carried. So these are some of the points which the opposition have raised, and the opposition needs have questioned that we need answer as far as the technicalities are concerned as to where did the central government get this number of 850 and 815. So these points are being raised by the opposition, and the opposition today also, if you look at the speech by Kakuli Ghosh Dostidar from the Trinamool Congress, she says that look at our candidate during the West Bengal polls, where we have given candidature to 52% to women, and BJP has given women candidate over 10%. So these are some of the questions which the opposition have been raising, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi very importantly highlighting that this bill needs to be get passed, and it needs the support of all the political parties present out here, and the credit would not go to the Bharatiya Janata Party or to the NDA, whereas the credit will go to all the political parties who are present out here, and India is moving to a Viksit direction. It's a historical day, so at this particular time it is very important that the opposition takes the decision to support the Women Reservation Bill.